welcome to my channel. My name is Ruth, also known as Daily Delivery on the Poshmark app, and each week I share a little of my Poshmark journey with you. For those of you who aren't new here, you may be wondering where I've been. Well, in the midst of the pandemic, I went in for a routine eye exam and discovered that there were some issues that I needed to go ahead and take care of. And so I had a couple procedures done, and of course there's the healing process that goes along with that. So that took quite a bit of time, and I am glad that it's over. I am glad that I've got the final all good, and I am ready to start off this new year. So I had been sharing my Poshmark journey with you, and I want to do something a little different since I am starting kind of from the beginning. And so I want to share my 2021 goals with you. So each year I set goals for myself. I'm not strict and I'm not rigid about my goals. If I meet them, I'm excited, of course, but if I don't, that's okay. There's always a new year to start fresh. First one is a spiritual goal. And I am going to try and be intentional about everything I do. That is my word for this year, is to be intentional. And I really want to focus on my spiritual goals this year. I had a goal last year of reading through the Bible in a year, and I did not accomplish it. And that's okay. It's tough to read through the Bible in a year. So that is going to be my major goal for this year. My second goal, spiritual goal, is going to be to pray more. This was also a goal that I had last year, and I did feel like I met that goal, but I want to continue that goal and really focus my prayers and what I'm praying for and each of my thoughts, and just be really intentional about the things that I pray for. And my last goal for spiritual goal is going to be to really have a quiet time. That was also my goal for last year, and I did meet that goal, but sometimes it's hard, life gets in the way and you don't quite get as much time as you like to. And so I'm really going to focus on having that quiet time. For me, it's really easy to do it first thing in the morning when I wake up, because that's just when I have time to really focus on being in the Word of God and reading my Bible and doing my devotional, and it just makes it so much easier than if I try and do it later in the day. It's just, and I really enjoy that time. And I feel like when I do my quiet time first thing in the morning, I feel more focused throughout the day. So the next goals I have for myself are financial goals, and I've got 5 financial goals that I'd like to meet. One of those goals is to save more money. I would like to start setting things aside for savings, and I kind of follow, I believe it's the Dave Ramsey method, where you live on 70, save 20, and tithe 10. And so that is my goal this year, is to make sure that I tithe 10%, which I did start last year. I didn't start till April, so I am going to be diligent and intentional and make sure that I actually tithe each month. And also one of my goals is to sell more. I'd like to sell more on Poshmark so that way I can tithe more. And so I want to save more, I want to tithe more, I'd like to sell more. I'd like to track my spending. Now last year I didn't spend anything past the month of, I believe is March, because that's when the pandemic started, was in March. And so I actually had not shopped since the first week of March, I believe. So I'm gonna track my spending, but I'm not spending. I haven't spent anything since March last year, and I'm trying very hard not to spend. I'd like to go through the pile of I don't want to really call it a death pile. I want to call it a money pile. So the money pile that I have, and you did see a little bit of that in the video that I showed with the tour of my office. So if you haven't seen that, you can go back and see what that looks like. I also want to start paying myself. I want to make it a goal to pay myself. I actually have not been paying myself, and I think that it's important to do that. So the next goal I have is more of a mental goal, and And what I mean by that is to really be intentional about the things that I read and what I allow to come into my mind and, in my heart. And so my goals for this year are to read more books. It has been a long time since I have sat down with a book and actually just enjoyed reading something. And so I have 12 books that I am going to read, and I have completed one already because today is February 1st. And so I have completed The Uninvited book by Lisa TerKeurst. It is a very good book. If you haven't read it, I encourage you to. I'm doing the book and also the workbook that comes along with it. Although I will say, in order to do the workbook, you probably should be in a small group. It makes it a little bit easier because you have to watch videos, and some of those videos are not found on YouTube, and so it makes it a little more difficult to fill out the book and kind of work through it. If you'd like to find out what other books I'm reading, I would be happy to do a video. Just let me know and I can do a video for you. Some of the books are going to be on a Christian level, and some of them are going to be financial. Some of them are going to be learning about myself, so self-help and just kind of, different genres. I'm excited to do this. I'm excited to learn new things, and I feel like books just kind of open that door to just allowing yourself to learn new stuff, and not only learning new stuff, you learn new stuff about yourself in the process. And so I'm so excited about doing that this year. So another thing that I'm doing on the mental side of things is to try and learn a new language, challenge myself to learn a new language. And for me this year, that's going to be learning American Sign Language. Did know a little bit when I was younger because my grandfather taught me. I do have a book, but I would really, really like to learn how to speak in sign language. I may not need it ever, but it's something that I have always wanted to learn, and so I have made that a goal for this year. So the other thing that I'm also going to challenge myself is to be intentional about word games. Now, I know that kind of sounds silly to some of y'all, word games. I feel like in the midst of the pandemic, we kind of, for me personally, I feel like my mind just isn't working like it used to. My focus is just sometimes I just have a hard time focusing, and I don't remember things as clearly, or I get absent-minded. I just feel like my mind's just so preoccupied with everything that's going on in the world that I need some time to just relax and breathe and do something that just brings fun into my life. And so that is going to be word games for me this year, whether it's on a computer or on my phone or doing crossword puzzles, just something to keep my mind active and going. So this next goal is one that I'm sure y'all can relate to, and it is physical goals. And what I mean by that is making sure that I'm working out, I'm getting enough sleep, I'm eating the right foods, and I'm taking the right supplements. And I'm sure this is something that everyone can relate to. It's really hard as a parent to take care of yourself because you're the last person you seriously think of. I'm sure a lot of you can relate, but I want to make it an intentional goal this year to really focus on my health. Let's get serious for a second. If you don't take care of yourself, your body will let you know. If you don't have enough water, your body will let you know. If you don't get enough sleep, your body will let you know, and everyone around you will know because it will show. So this year, I am going to be more intentional about taking care of myself and taking care of the body that God has given me, and making sure that I'm eating right, and that I'm drinking what I need to drink, and that I'm taking the vitamins that I need to take, and that I'm getting the rest that I need to get. So my next goals are going to be more of emotional goals, and for me that might look a little bit different than it looks for you. So what I've started doing, I actually started this last year, but it made me feel so good that I want to continue it this year. And that is to get rid of stuff that's in my home that I no longer need, I no longer want, or I no longer use. And how I've been doing that is not only selling on Poshmark, but the things that I can't sell on Poshmark, or, it might not bring enough money and I want to do something with it. Instead of going to go drop it off at Goodwill and not knowing who it actually goes to, I have found an app on my phone. It's a local app. It's either called Nextdoor or Neighborhood. I'm sure that your location may have one. And what you do is you post the things that you'd like to give away, and somebody comes to your home and picks them up. It's super simple. I pick out the items that I no longer want. I put them in a bag. I stick them on my curb. I put it on the app, and I let somebody know, anyone who's looking at the app, that I've placed those items outside my home. They're more than welcome to come and pick them up whenever they can, whenever they're available. And that is the last time I see it. One of my other goals is also to take care of myself, not just taking the right vitamins, supplements, and eating the right foods, but also making myself feel better. I feel better when I get up, get dressed, put makeup on, wear nice clothes. That makes me feel better. I feel more energetic. I feel more alive. And so I am really striving this year to make myself feel like a real person, and like I am ready to seize the day. And also along those goals, another thing that I have done is, sometimes at night when you're laying in bed, it's kind of hard for you to, at least for me, it's hard to unwind and kind of like just stop your brain from just flashing things at you and constantly going. And so I put a notebook next to my bedside, and in that notebook I basically brain dump every night. I don't know how else to say it. I have all these thoughts going into my mind, and it keeps me from resting fully and completely. And so each night I write something down in that notebook that, maybe on my mind to do the next day, or something, an idea that I had, or just anything that keeps my mind preoccupied and keeps me from getting the rest that I so desperately need. Okay, last goal. So I joke with my family that my love tank is empty, and if my love tank's empty, then I cannot give anyone anything because my love tank is empty. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure y'all can relate, where there are days that you just feel like you're struggling and you just have nothing to give. Well, for me, I am a very social person. I'm also very touchy-feely. I love to hug. I love just being next to someone. And as we all know, it's been tough to do that because of the pandemic. And so I miss my family. I miss my kiddos who are off doing their own thing. And so sometimes I just feel like my love tank is just so empty. And so I'm going to be more intentional about filling my love tank. And I know you can Skype. I know you can Duo. I know that you can, there's so many FaceTime and just all kinds of stuff out there that you can use to spend time with your family over the internet. And I'm going to be more intentional about doing that this year. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a fabulous day. I hope that you learned something from my videos and that you come back and learn more as I share my Poshmark journey with each of you. Have a great day.